Thanks for clicking on Wayne.com for this week's edition of Inside the Zone. Blake Sebring, Glenn Marini here to talk Komets hockey and also talk a little light reading after we talk some hockey.
Because I want violent.
Yeah. I want to get into it. But first, let's talk about the Komets. I mean, they might be playing in this elongated stretch the best hockey we've seen them play all season long.
The thing I was thinking about this yesterday, it's been 3 months they've basically been chasing Toledo. They haven't gained any ground, but they haven't lost any ground either. So they're really matching par, and Toledo's been the best team in the league. So that's pretty good. You know, I mean, you can't make up ground when you don't play them that much. And there's nothing you can do. They've really handled the teams they should handle this month. It was their best February since 2012.
And they've really, it's funny to say that because they've fallen behind in so many games. You say, well, how can they be playing their best hockey? It seems like they always come back. I don't know what it is, if they're putting pressure on Gary's heart at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got to be pulling out the hair, but they always come back.
Yeah, they have confidence in that spot where they don't panic, and maybe the other team's pressing to put them away. Maybe nobody seems to understand it or have a reason why. It just works, and it's even better now that they're getting some pieces back in the lineup, and there's a lot more depth there, and they can get something from every line and every defensive pairing.
I think the proof was in the pudding this week, and they fall behind both games against the Nailers. They're down 3-1 on Saturday, come back and win 4-3. They're down 1-0 on Sunday, come back and win 2-1. What is it about this team that allows them to do that? You mentioned the pieces that they're getting back, but is there some sort of gritty mentality that they have? Because you would think, gosh, at some point, the luck is going to change the other way, and you're not going to be able to dig all the way out. But we really haven't seen that in like the past month.
Well, other than Wheeling, who have they played the last month that they were really, well, that's a really good team. You know, that's a team that could really hurt them, put them away if they're not careful. They haven't had that. They've had a lot of games against Indy, Quad City, Kalamazoo, Cincinnati.
Right.
You know, not that they're bad teams, but they're not championship contenders either. Wheeling, that's why Wheeling was so impressive these last 3 games. That's a team, even though they're not in the playoffs right now, they're 6 games over 500 in the toughest division in the league, and they played the toughest league schedule in the league. And those were really, really good games. It was more of how the Komets played rather than the outcome in a way, because they were doing all the little things right that they have to focus on to get into playoff mode.
I don't want to oversell it, but their best hockey has paralleled the return of Pat Nagel. He's 8-0-3 now on this season. How big of a factor is he? Because Garrett Bartis played pretty well on Saturday night, and then Pat Nagel follows it up with only allowing 1 goal on Sunday.
Right now, if you had to pick who was going to play in the playoffs, I don't know the answer. I don't know that anybody knows the answer because Garrett's been Garrett. The whole year he has been exceptional, and he's been solid and strong and consistent. And right now, Pat, the best thing about Pat right now is he won yesterday 2-1, and he's undefeated. He hasn't lost a game in regulation yet, and he's still getting better. And I think the defense is getting better, figuring out how to play in front of him too, which is different because he likes to be able to see the shots coming. He doesn't necessarily want them blocking him right in front. He wants to see them, whereas other goaltenders sometimes like just block them wherever, you know, but he's more of a feel guy, a shot guy, a sight guy type thing.
Now, since you and I talked last, Mike Cazzola's been up and been back down. What does it mean to have him back in the lineup? Obviously, he had the game winner on Sunday, but he really adds a lot. He's been a nice surprise, I guess you could say, for the Komets this season.
You know what, and I don't mean this in any way to be derogatory to Mike at all, but I felt like Brett Perlini really stepped up, and he filled that role at center, and he was great. And I think, you know what I think is guys know there's 5 weeks till the playoffs. It seems like it's much longer out there, but it's 5 weeks, and they know that the trade deadline is Thursday. They know there's fighting for spots because you've still got Jamie Shasman coming back, Kyle Thomas coming back, and who else? Oh, Bobby Shea coming back too. So there's 3 spots you know are going to be in the lineup. That means 3 guys are coming out, and really right now I'm not sure who those 3 guys are that are coming out because everybody's stepping up and trying to play their best hockey right now.
When you take a look at Kyle Thomas, you mentioned him. He's one of the guys I wanted to talk about. Obviously still up with the Cleveland Monsters. He's been up there for a while now. What is he doing well? What have you heard from any feedback that he's gotten up there? And then when
I really haven't heard anything.
Yeah, when can you anticipate a return?
I wouldn't be surprised if he stays there till the end of the regular season, possibly. Or it just depends on the health of the guys ahead of them. in Columbus, and then in Cleveland. It just depends. You just don't know. But where would you get to the point in the season where you would think, man, if Kyle doesn't come back, it's just a disaster? And it's not right now. And that's not a knock on Kyle at all. It tells you how much everybody else has raised their level of play.
This week, you mentioned they haven't necessarily played the strongest schedule over the last month. 2 games against Indy. What do you see happening this week? What are some of the keys for you for the Komets to be successful again?
Well, the last 12 games, I mean, we talked about this forever. 59 power plays against, 36-4. That's 2 power plays a game against, more than they're getting. They just got to stay out of the box somehow. You're not going to beat Toledo and Allen or teams like that by giving them 2 more power plays a game, because that's a goal a game for those teams, and you can't afford to be a goal down in all those games.
All right, 6-0 against Indy so far this year. They've
the Komets have their number. I think the Komets are in their heads. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, they've played so well. Jake Hillebrand's had an awesome year for them in goal, and he's 0-5 against the Komets, and his numbers are awful. But he's played really well because he's been getting 47, 48 shots a game against him. He's kept them in those games for the most part, and yet he's been awful against them because there's nothing he can do about it when he's getting that many shots from in close. I mean, they have some holes.
All right, a couple of games against Indy this week. But if you're not watching hockey, you might want to read up. Blake Sebring has published now Lethal Ghost, kind of a different angle from what we've seen. Obviously, people know you from your Fort Wayne sports books, from the Lloyd Ball biography, Bob Chase, and then The Lake Effect was more of a novel.
Homecoming Game was more
of a novel. This is a different angle. This is more of a thriller, a killer. You got all sorts of things going on. Tell me a little bit about.
My mom said I was going to have to use a fake name on it because you can't talk to people at church about this book.
Yeah, why did you go this route? Because obviously it's different than anything you've done before.
I wanted to do a mystery, and I kept thinking I wanted it to be unique. So I did 2 different things. I wanted to write about a killer, obviously. So how do the FBI and police officers catch serial killers? Well, they have patterns. They kill the same type of people. They kill in the general geographic area. They use the same weapons, and they have timing issues, most of them. So what if there was a killer out there who didn't have any of that? And then I thought that would be an interesting protagonist. Because the best mysteries and the best action-adventure books are about the villains more than they're about the good guys. You got to have a compelling villain. Everybody knows Dr. No and Goldfinger and all those, Blofeld from the Bond movies, because Bond, they were the villains. They were the key players in the drama. So then I always like to really push myself writing-wise to try something new. So I wrote the bad guy in first person and the good guy in third person, alternating chapters, so you could have a different mindset and really get into the mind of the villain. And there's certain places in the book where they cross over and don't realize it too. So it was a lot of fun to come up with different angles for both of them to keep the narrative interesting, and different challenges and how you would react, how a villain would plot and plan and how the good guy would react, and it hits home personally to him, and how you would survive that and still keep your ability to try to track down the bad guy. I wanted it to be more realistic. I didn't want it to be a movie thing where, oh, here's a nice coincidence, we just get this guy. It doesn't work that way in real life.
What kind of research did you do? I mean, is this kind of like a genre that you read a lot of, or is it something you had to search out and do a lot of research on? I mean, how did you, kind of get the basis for formulating what you wanted to do?
I read a lot of mysteries. I read a lot of everything. And I had the ending came to me, and the beginning came to me. The first line is, most murders are committed in the heat of passion, but I've always preferred to work in cold blood. I had that line in my head right away, and I knew that was the start. And then I had the whole first chapter in my head written out, and I had the ending written out. But then I had to fill it all in between, and that was the challenge. That was the interesting part. My mom actually gave me really interesting ways to murder people.
Is that weird?
No, not really, if you know my mom.
but what's been the reaction? Because this is off your beaten path, if you will.
It is. People are like, this is not what I expected at all. I mean, it's that's kind of the fun of it too. I mean, it's kind of I want to tease you and I want to twist you around and I want to. My aunt says she'll never open the door to strangers again because of this.
Probably
book.
a good idea.
You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was beneficial in that way. But there are, you know, what if your neighbor was a murderer and you wouldn't know it? You know, I mean, what if you're somebody at your kid's school? Or I mean, it's all these possibilities that could happen. And but that's why I put him in the book.
You know, I kind of expected the hero to have like a short manly name, like Glenn or something like that, and maybe like something ethnic on the back, something like maybe Italian, like really, you know,
well, I think
macho.
Wasn't his wife's name Emily by chance?
There was.
I
There's
thought
an
that
Emily
was
character
interesting.
in the
you know,
story.
I mean, and she was a real strong character too. Yeah, she really bossed her husband around like crazy. It was really kind of weird to see.
I wonder what that's like. I wonder what that's like. Luckily, this is fiction, right? This is fiction.
Totally fiction. I would never do that, you know.
But when you're thinking about next projects, I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead because obviously
I've already started.
Just came. I figured you already had the wheels turning.
Yeah, I've got the next book is another Komets book.
Okay.
It's about Fort Wayne's ties to the NHL, and it's going to be called On to the Show, and I hope to get it done in time for fall. It's just fascinating how many ties we have to the NHL and how it's been an everlasting impact. It hasn't just been brushes of glory or anything. It's been stuff that's lasted and really impacted the NHL.
Yeah, a real pipeline.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And I go into, you know, like Slapshot and Miracle and, you know, Bob's Lynn Patrick Award, you know, I mean, or Lester Patrick Award, all those types of things that really have had an impact on the world of hockey, not just the minors, but it's been the NHL, the Olympics, and the world of hockey.
So getting back to the sports realm.
Right. And then I'll do a sequel to Lethal Ghost.
Oh, really? A sequel?
Yeah.
Using the same characters?
Yeah. Except for, you know, a couple guys in there, obviously, because they got killed off.
Yeah. We don't want to give away too much. We don't want to give away too much. We don't want to give away too much. But no, I actually have read it all, which is a small miracle in its own right during the basketball season.
You didn't read it to the girls at bedtime, did you?
You know what? I don't think it would go over very well.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think they would like that, and I don't think my wife Emily would like that either.
No.
We will see.
It's just a coincidence that the hero's wife is named Emily too.
There you go. See? That truth is stranger than fiction in many terms. Well, we appreciate it, Blake. It's a good read. Check it out. I've read it. It's a page turner.
It's on Amazon. It's $15 for paperback and $5 on Kindle. You really can't beat that.
And knock on Blake's door if you want an autograph.
Well, there you go. Or
generally do it in the middle of the night.
Or come see me in the games. You know, I mean, that's fine.
That's true. That's true. You're an easy man to spot.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a skinny guy hiding in the shadows, that's for sure.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. It's been great. It was a good read, and definitely check it all out there. If you've read his other books, it certainly goes a different route.
The thing is, after everybody reads it, they're going to like avoid me like the plague now.
That's true. They never know what's going on.
That's
in your
right.
head now.
Yeah. Is this guy plotting how to kill me in the next book? Yeah.
Maybe he is. And we will leave you with that thought on Inside the Zone. We'll be back next Monday talking about the Komets as they battle Indy.